weather's warming up, and that means we can get outside and tackle those spring projects. Projects you may have been putting off, like staining the deck.
Right, for maybe years, really. But it's not as hard as it seems. Sharon Grech joins us to give us some tips on how to stain like a pro this morning. Nice to see you again.
Nice to see you, too.
All right, so I think a lot of people, Sharon, they have an idea of the color they want to maybe stain their fence or deck, but then they go into the store, they go to the paint aisle, and it immediately becomes overwhelming.
It is really overwhelming, and especially with stain, because there's a lot of different things you have to consider that depend on the wood condition, depend on obviously the aesthetic that you want to go for. So it can totally be overwhelming, but it's a matter of sort of breaking it down. So I'm going to do that with Benjamin Moore's Woodlux Exterior Stain, and anything in this collection is really designed to protect and beautify any of those exterior wood surfaces, whether it's your deck or your fence or your siding or even little smaller pieces of furniture. So opacity is a really big thing. So I want to really start with that because there's 4 different options, and it's going to depend on the condition of your wood. And the first one is translucent, and you can probably barely see it. I've left one side with the raw wood, so you can see that translucent is really when you've got fairly new wood that you just want to still sort of highlight or enhance the beauty of the natural wood. Now that is only available in 7 ready mix colors, so there's not a lot of decisions here, which is good for some people. So you've got some that look like natural wood, and then you've got this bleached gray, which I really love because that's kind of the color that your wood is going to naturally turn into over time with the sun. So that's a really good option here. But you can see that on the white pine and on the cedar, it's going to look different. So it's going to look different depending on your wood.
Okay. Right.
Now, if you want a little bit more color, but you still want to see that natural wood come through, then semi-transparent is a really popular option. This is tinted, so there's actually 75 colors to choose from there, so you've got a little more option. You can get into some blues and greens. I used Ashland Slate here, which is sort of a nice cool gray. But again, you can see how the cedar versus the white pine is going to look quite a bit different with that stain. So it's still quite translucent, but we're going to call it transparent.
Okay.
And then if you want a little bit more color, semi-solid, just to confuse you, is sort of in between. And this one covers up a little bit more. So it's great if your wood's a little bit older and maybe you have some imperfections or you're changing some boards. Over time, the wood is definitely going to change. So here you can see on the pine versus the cedar, there's not as much of a difference. So it covers a little bit more up. And then, of course, if you want full coverage, go for the solid stain. And this is great because it looks like paint, so you get that solid cover. It can really cover up all sorts of imperfections, and you can choose any of pretty much every Benjamin Moore color. So over 3,500 colors. If you want a purple fence, you can have a purple fence. So you've got lots of options with solid.
Okay, so now we've picked our stain. How are we applying it?
All right, applying it is very different than with paint. Stain is actually designed to really penetrate into the wood, and that's what allows it to protect the wood. So the wood has to be completely dry, completely clean, and you want to get rid of any previous coatings that you have so that the stain can penetrate. So
it's all about the prep, right?
It's all about the prep. And honestly, every piece of wood outside is going to be in a different condition. So I could do a whole show on prep. So make sure you go to your local Benjamin Moore retailer and talk to them about your wood condition. Okay. But I can give you one really simple tip that anybody can do. I've got a new piece of cedar here, and if you do this water bead test, it'll show you if the wood is open enough and ready to take stain. So you just want to put like a little bit of water on that. That was just a really, really little bit. And you can see that it's sort of beading. If it's beading, then you can go relax and enjoy your summer because it's not ready to take stain. Okay, so that's really a good little test. And if you want to do it anyway, then sand it. So on the other side here, I sanded it with 80 grit, and you can already see that it started to penetrate into that.
Yeah, it's soaking in, right?
It's soaking in, and that's really, really important with whatever kind of stain that you use. And you asked me about how to apply it. Honestly, a brush, a good stain brush, is the best option. You want to push it in.
Not the air sprayer?
You can. I've seen professionals use an air sprayer. I wouldn't do it because I would get all over the place. But you also need to still push it in. So it's important to go back brush. And actually a roller, if you're doing a really large area, a lot of people will use a roller, and I've done this with a partner. So if you want to roll it on, I left a couple of areas here undone. If you want to roll, and I'm going to show you brushing, and you can get an idea.
I got a roller.
Have you rolled before, Jeff?
Well,
oh, he's a roller.
Yeah. I can roll with it. I can roll with it, Sharon.
So if you want to put some, just roll it on this way. And what you would do if you're rolling it is you would roll 1 or 2 boards at a time, and then have somebody behind. You can see how you're going to end up with laugh marks. So if you want to go over that and brush it.
Okay.
And you can see, oh, you put too much on there, Carolyn.
Oh, no.
It's okay. I've got the roller. I can roll that out.
That's okay. Because the thing is, what you want to do is go after. So have somebody roll it, and then you go after. And let me just show you this here. If you kind of like pull it in like this. So you're sort of pulling the stain, and then you're going to get rid of those lap marks.
Okay.
Okay.
Sharon, you and I are a heck of a team.
There we go.
I think we could start our own business this summer.
Are you free tomorrow?
Yeah.
I'll take a day
We're
off.
available for hire.
Word of caution, or have you already said it?
No, you know what? It's really important to test it. And the great thing is we do have these little woodluck samples, and you can buy these because the color is going to look so different as we showed. This is Ashland Slate. Just look how different it is in semi-transparent, semi-solid, and solid. So it's really important to try it out on a piece of your own wood that's been prepared to make sure you love the color before you get to all this work.
Right.
I can't stop. Won't stop. This is addictive.
Well, you should get going on your own.
There we go.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and you can push and push and push. And again, if you're doing your deck, you want to wait a good 48 hours before you start putting all your furniture back on. With a fence, it's going to dry to touch in an hour. This is water-based, same, by the way.
Okay.
Okay.
Hopefully everyone's inspired. I know I can hold. I was about to, but no, because of the beating, I got to go home and do that and test it out.
Test it out first.
Maybe I got a summer off. I don't know.
Exactly. Wait till next year.
Maybe I got to wait.
Please beat. Please beat.
All right, thank you.
All right. It was fun.
This portion of the morning show is brought to you by Benjamin Moore. Find your locally owned retailer at benjaminmoore.com.